Cinema 3D Super Tournament.
Alright, hello there ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the GSL Super Tournament. Tournament that was briefly defeated by the Doomsday Tournament, but then was cloned and brought back for another day of the round of 64. I am Moltrap, here with me is Wolf, and we are so excited to be casting some excellent players today. I am super stoked. Are you super stoked
I am
for the Super
super
Tournament
stoked.
today?
And I wanted to mention right off the bat that some of the games that you guys think are being played today are actually not, because the schedule was changed because of MLG. So some of the stuff on the TL calendar was a little bit wrong, but now you can look at and see exactly who's playing. Huck's still playing today, though, so I know a lot of people are really excited about that. Also, Nestea playing a ZVZ, see if he can remain dominant in that matchup. Some pretty exciting stuff going on.
Dominant is like an understatement right now.
Yeah. I mean, he only lost one game
Berserk.
to Demaga.
Lost one match.
One match.
One match.
That's true.
Did actually drop a game to Fruit Dealer as well. Codas last season.
That's also true.
Yeah, and then we got, of course, coming up right off the bat, Killer versus Bomber. What? That's going to be crazy, man. Killer is so good. Bomber is so good. Together, they are so good. Good.
Yeah, they are really good. And, of course, Bomber has a ridiculously high PVT rate, or TVP rate, to say it in the correct order. About 84% wins.
Yeah, I remember, sorry, what were we going to say about that?
Go ahead. I was going to probably say the same thing you're about to say.
I was just going to say, I remember in Code A, he was playing all these Terran versus Terrans, and I'm like, oh, he's like sick good at TVT, and it's his worst matchup.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah,
like,
he's
how
so
good is this guy? It's ridiculous.
He's definitely underplayed, kind of. You know, it doesn't look like he has that many results yet because was in Code A, and, you know, a lot of people downplay Code A players, but he's awesome. And I think a lot of people out there are starting to realize that, Moltrap.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, later on, we do have Polt Prime versus Lucira. That's going to be pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and take a look at yesterday's results first before we go ahead and look at today's. So we started off yesterday with Clyde 2-1ing Rainbow, a little bit closer series than I expected. And so props to Rainbow for putting up a good fight, but he did go down. Leenock took out Alive in short order. Beyond, oh man, that was a lull series, took out Legal Mind. And Alicia, whoa, 2-0ing MC.
Go watch those VODs.
Definitely go watch those VODs. Those were actually really good games, and it wasn't just like a fluke or anything like that. Alicia straight up outplayed.
He outplayed him like
MC.
crazy.
And there we have today, like we were saying, Killer versus Bomber, Cezanne versus Nestea, Polt versus Lucira. It's going to be an interesting match. And then, of course, Liquid Huck versus New Star Hoso Son, formerly Zenith.
Yeah, pretty exciting matches today. In fact, I'm excited for all of them. There's not a single match in there today that I go, oh. And that's how the Super Tournament has been so far, except earlier on, it was like there were a few matches that everyone thought was going to be kind of a lame match, but none of them ended up being lame, and now it's got some great matches all the time.
Hopefully it's not like the other way around where the good matches turn out being lame.
Yeah, well, let's hope not.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, we saw, you know, Alicia versus MC looked like it was going to be a good match, and it was a 2-0, but it wasn't lame at all. It was awesome.
It was good stuff. It was quite awesome indeed. So yeah, definitely stay tuned here for the rest of the day. We got some excellent matches. We're earlier in the day here.
Yeah.
So, you know, maybe you guys are over in California and you're like, it's like, oh, it's only like, I think it's 10 p.m. there.
Yeah,
something
10
like
or 11,
that.
something like that.
A little after 10, just staying up, watching a little StarCraft, get some popcorn.
It's Friday night, actually.
Yeah,
so
that's what Friday nights are for, man.
Bring your friends over. Call your friends. Tell them to watch the GSL.
Watching GSL. That's all I ever.
If you do anything else on your night, then you should probably change that. I would recommend it. Highly recommend it.
Let's go ahead and get started talking about the first match we're going to have here. Bomber versus Killer. The battle of the verbs. or I guess there would be nouns. What would be a term for like a noun that represents someone doing a verb?
It's just a noun. It's just a noun, Moltrap.
I so wanted it to be more than that. To more than a regular noun. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out those players. In their booths getting ready. First off, we have TSL Killer. Been doing quite well, actually. Very consistently high up there in Codas. January round of 16. March round of 8. May round of 8. July, who knows?
Yeah. You know, Killer's almost like the Nada Protoss. He's always consistently doing well. He did drop down to Code A, for you know, a little while, but he's consistently doing well, and I think he's almost comparable to Nada in that sense. He always makes it pretty far, never really flops.
Yeah, it's kind of like Nada without the golden mouse.
Yeah. He's got golden hair, though, kind of.
That's right, man. Golden hair. I was talking to someone, talking to Karn. Someone, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Karn. Talking about all the TSL players all have like dyed hair.
I think that was actually me.
That was you. You, Karn.
They
translator.
They do
all
dye
the
their
same.
hair a lot on the TSL team.
Yeah. Anyway, so his competitor, this is actually really cool. I was talking to Bomber beforehand. These guys are actually friends. Like, Killer came over while I was talking to Bomber and like did like fake like hitting on it. Like he put his fists on his booth. You know, remember like MC did and all that.
Yeah.
But they're actually old friends. They were both on Eastro together back in the day.
Back in the day.
So Killer actually used to be a lot better than Bomber back in Brood War. And Bomber, I don't know, I think he has what it takes, man. Code 8 champion. He lost his first game ever versus Protoss on TV to a guy named Smart. And didn't lose a single game since then until the Team League. He actually lost the game to MC, but he's like 11-2 versus Protoss. So Killer's got his work cut out for him, man.
Definitely. But Lee does feel confident, he said.
Yep, Coach Lee.
He actually said that, take a look at our maps right now. He said that Belshire Beach was a map he didn't feel that confident about. He said Tal'Darim Altar is really important because he feels like no matter what, Killer can take out dual sight. He says he feels so confident. He says 100% win. If Killer plays on dual sight, he'll win that game. So he said Tal'Darim Altar he feels is the really important match he has to win. Doesn't feel confident about Belshire Beach though. So we'll see what he does. That Tal'Darim Altar match oftentimes leads to some epic games. I'm pretty excited about it. So we get to see that game no matter what.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, we're going to be getting underway here in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Killer, only sort of middling win rate versus Terran in StarCraft 2, so he definitely has to bring up his skills that he's been using beating Zergs to defeat Bomber here on Belshire Beach. Let's get this underway. This is the GSL Super Tournament.
GSL Killer versus Startail Bomber.
And here is our Protoss player at the top left-hand area of Belshire Beach, formerly known as Songho from Brood War.
DSA Killer.
Now known as
From
DSA
where,
Killer.
Moletrap?
From Brood War. From Belshire Beach. From Korea. And I have no idea what that says. That looks like Chinese.
That
to me,
is actually Chinese.
All right. And here is his challenger, was his lesser teammate, his practice partner in Brood War, and now looking to be maybe a better player in StarCraft 2.
Tate Bomo.
Startail.
Yeah, well, at the very least, this is definitely his matchup.
Yeah.
So, see, I'm having some audio problems.
Yeah, that's kinda
Hopefully-
weird.
Okay, there it goes. Hopefully you guys weren't having those.
The Terran music, like the record player skipped.
That happens to me
there for a
every now and
minute.
then when I'm laddering, and it makes me feel really. I'm like, uh-oh, is my game about to crash? I get really tense.
Do you, with the game repeating, do you like spam the same command over and over again?
Yeah. I keep right-clicking, resetting my rally points in time with the music.
So Killer going for a very fast scout here. Pretty normal play there. Just going gateway gas. Actually, did he get his gas first? I actually was not paying attention because I was listening to that music.
Normal timed gas.
Normal? Okay, never mind.
SCV barely escapes with his live. 2 probe shots, 10 hit points would have killed him off.
That's actually
going up. Sorry, second barracks going up pretty quick here for Bomber.
Oh, interesting. He's kind of hiding that over on the side.
Yeah, he's got his reactor going up now, so be a pretty normal 2 barracks expand, I think.
Yep, might be able to put some pressure on Killer if he doesn't do something about it. I was just gonna point out it's kind of interesting how sometimes that is the case where you wall and you kind of have to send that injured SCV out, and the SCV actually in the middle almost gets killed.
Oh, one more zap will do it. He's got to
By
be
the
very
probe.
careful.
that could actually be bad because if you got a nice, healthy, full health SCV running around the Protoss base, you can keep it alive for a long time and do a lot more scouting. But because it's so injured, like one hit from a Zealot or whatever pops out of that gateway, or Probe even, would kill it. So he had to evacuate. Doesn't get as much scouting information, although he might send another scout out. But anyway, both players kind of in the dark right now.
That's true. Killer has taken 2 gas. I think he's going to get a Stargate, and indeed he does. But look at this.
Whoa.
Bomber has moved his second barracks onto the low ground, making it very accessible. He can send his units much faster.
Yeah, that's
so he may be planning on doing some sort of timing attack. But the Stargate has gone down for Killer. I felt like that's what it was going to be because he got second gas and only had 1 gate. Most likely we're going to see some Phoenix opening. One Zealot trying to do a little bit of poking. Stalker joins up. Now he can do a ton of damage if he controls properly.
Yep.
Stalker is faster than Marines and also outrange them. Bomber running back to that Marauder.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to get too close over that way, though, because then he might accidentally reveal himself. And he is actually just going ahead and moving out across the map with these forces. No, wait.
Nice.
Stalker gets in there, I believe. Oh, did it see that barracks? I think he knows either way, because he saw the Marauder and the extra Marines.
I think
so. Killer's like, uh-oh.
as soon as he saw that,
going on. I need to get something out here, and it is going to be a...
It's a Void Ray. As soon as he saw that Marauder, he decided, I need the Void Ray. The Marine count is pretty good, but I think that if I control my army properly, I've got 2 Stalkers out, I should be able to keep that Marine count low enough to where my Void Ray will be able to help. The Void Ray going to pop out just in time here. But here comes the attack from Bomber. He's targeting down that pylon. Here comes the Zealot, though.
Yeah, he's
taking out those Marines very quickly.
Yeah, it was target firing the Stalker with the Marines, so the Void Ray was actually not in danger at all. Was able to just do damage, take out a couple Marines, and Bomber just goes ahead and turns around, heads home. Doesn't want to deal with that Void Ray. Does not have enough Marines to do so, and especially with the Warp Gate tech up, Killer would just be able to get too much stuff out. So both players kind of trying to do a little one base thing, and we might see him move into expansions before too long, but actually Bomber's making another Rax. Getting Stim.
And yeah, that Stim is on the way. It's about a third of the way done.
He might not be done yet.
Killer has added 2 gateways. He's starting to add some sentries into his army, getting more Void Rays out. Got a second Void Ray, a third on the way. So he may be gearing up to do a timing attack, but it may just be some sort of defensive posture to get a Nexus up. Although it's very unusual to be making heavy Void Rays and then make a Nexus.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. I mean, like I said, they're both one-basing pretty hardcore right now. Although Bomber has gone and put a bunker outside of his expansion, so he might be thinking of expanding once that gets up. But very, very interesting, especially since he's not really seeing much pressure from Killer just yet. Although here it comes across the map.
Yeah, I think Killer actually...
A few Void Rays, ground
I think he
units.
really wants to go for this timing attack. Doesn't really want to make a Nexus, doesn't want to expand. The Probe comes in here, does see the command center.
Oh, and you know what he could do? He could charge up on those rocks. Uh-oh. Oh, no, Stim! No!
Oh,
Stim is not complete yet! He
done.
researched the tech lab on the low ground! Oh, no! Stim gets canceled at the last moment. That is horrible for Bomber. He needed that so badly to deal with those Void Rays.
And now, actually, Killer is just going to go ahead and make a Nexus.
Wow.
And I think that's the right choice.
That's a good choice. Because he did see, I think he still saw that Bomber did have a lot of forces, and he couldn't be sure that there wasn't Stim. That could have been combat shields that he canceled or something like that. So, I don't know, I think he was planning on charging up on the rocks, though, and attacking.
I agree. I think
cool.
that's a pretty smart move, and based on the fact that he had 3 Void Rays in his army, I think that was probably his plan from the beginning. Engineering Bay finishing up now, as well as the command center for Bomber. So Bomber going to start getting some upgrades out. Most likely going to throw down a factory soon. Start teching up to those medevacs.
And Bomber starts the long, slow haul to get Stimpack upgrades once again.
Yeah, it takes forever
has to take
now
another like
patch.
3 in-game minutes.
It does take a really long time. Bomber smartly putting up missile turrets just in case Phoenixes start coming out of that Stargate. Now, at this point, we do see that Killer has started that first observer, going right into robotics tech. It's kind of risky, because when you tech like that, if he makes a robotics bay, I'll be a little bit concerned for him, because it's really hard to tech that much. Your opponent has a sizable army. He hasn't really killed much of Bomber's army at this point.
No.
he has to be very careful. Can't really expand and tech that easily in this matchup.
No, they pretty much just traded units early on that evenly in that first battle. Both players just kind of fell back. Came in, took out a tech lab, fell back. So hasn't really been much of an exchange. Both the supplies are well, actually,
Bomber at
pretty
92
far ahead in
supply.
supply.
And in
about
fact,
20.
he's gonna push out. He does see though. He did scan and see that Killer has added 3 more gateways. So it looks like he is going to be playing it smarter, getting the Twilight Council as well. But I'm not sure if he's going to have enough units to deal with Bomber's attack. He does have about 5 sentries. A lot of them are at full energy.
Yeah, and
He's
this
going to have
time,
to use perfect force fields though.
and this time he made 2 tech labs, so he's got combat shields, stim, and +1 weapons are all going to finish at almost the exact same moment. And that is the perfect moment to go in. It's going to happen any second now.
Yeah,
Bomber's probably going to charge in there and try and do some damage.
He's just waiting for those upgrades to finish, as you said. And he's even got his forces split into 2 groups, so he can come in from 2 sides. The force fields won't be as effective. Actually, he's just going to...
Actually, he's just going to walk in.
Yeah, he's just going to go in for it.
One does simply stim into Mordor. Apparently, he's going in and posturing for a battle here.
Starting to target down that Nexus. Here come the units, though. Some good force fields, but there may be too many units for Bomber. He's got half of his units targeting the Nexus. Nexus does fall, and in fact, I think he has enough units to crush through the rest of Sampo's army. But some great force fields.
And he stims again to try and charge in there. Kills off all the Void Rays. Once he took out the ground units, going in with the Marauders as well. He's going to easily take out the last Stalkers. And Killer may just leave the game here. He's lost his Nexus. More units are streaming in for Bomber. And, man, this is looking really bad for Killer. He has a lot of Warp Gates. But I don't think even a round of units will be able to take out what Bomber's throwing at him right now. I think Killer's probably just composing himself
Killer
for the next
actually,
game.
he's just checking around with his observer, trying to see what stuff do you have. How did I lose this one? You know, a lot of players do that when they lose. They just go and check with their observer or scan or whatever, see what their opponent has, try to figure it out. GG.
GG coming from Killer, and Bomber showing why he has been so dominant in the past versus Protoss, playing an excellent game there and taking out Killer, and it didn't even look like it was difficult for him, man.
No, he killed that first Stalker, and from there was just no uncertainty. He backed off when he saw the Voider, which was very smart, and played it out very safely overall. You look at him right now, it's like, all right,
It's like,
I
whatever.
got this.
Yeah, man, I went to talk to him a little bit in his booth before the games, and I was like, hey, man, you've been playing a lot of Terran versus Terran in Code A. So, I mean, like, how's your Terran versus Protoss? He looked at me, he mugged. His face was completely straight, and he said, I've got the best Terran versus Protoss. He was not even joking. He wasn't, like, bragging. He was just like, oh, yeah, I've actually got the best, just by the way. So he's definitely confident in this match.
Now, Tal'Darim Altar was the map that Coach Lee told us was very important for Killer. He said this is the map he has to win because if he wins on dual site, he'll be able to take that game no matter what. That's what Lee told us. He said, in my opinion, 100% win on dual site. So if he takes this game out, he may have a great chance at beating Bomber, but we'll see. This map, pretty even in this matchup, I would say. Not favored one or the other. The results are pretty 50-50 on it. But if history has shown us anything, Bomber may very well take this game just as easily as he did the last.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into the game. Let's find out if Bomber can close it out 2-0 or if Killer can bring it to dual site. This is the GSL.